Hey guys, Brad Gilmore here. Want to give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Walker Texas Lawyer. If you or a loved one have been injured in an accident, whether that be a car, truck, motorcycle accident, or some kind of other issue, hit up Walker Texas Lawyer at 713-552-1117 or walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Matthew McConaughey.
Brad Gilmore.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
Well, I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Jessica Alba and Lizzie Mathers. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Kevin Costner joins us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Chris Tucker is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Hey, Brad. Good morning to you. How are you?
George Lopez joins us right now. George, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What lovely to talk to me, funny lad.
Megan Trainor.
Thank you so much, Brad. You're awesome.
Chloe Bailey joins us. I appreciate the time.
Appreciate you.
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat.
George Sung, thank you so much for taking the time. I really enjoyed this movie. Weekend in Taipei.
Awesome.
I could have spent a whole week there. I'll be honest with you. I really enjoyed the narrative that y'all brought me on. And so thank you so much for the time and congratulations.
Thank you,
Brian.
If I could start, though, with George, with you, what I loved about the film, too, is obviously there's the action beats that we all want when we see an action movie, a great hero and a great villain. But there's several complexities that make that story all that more entertaining. When putting together the narrative, was that on your mind of, I want to give the people an action movie, but I want to have some more layers to it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. As, you know, someone who's been in business a while and also just is a big fan of action movies, you know, look, the rule is, you know, it's not really the action that counts, it's the characters. If you don't care about the characters, the action is just white noise, you know what I mean? But if you care about the characters, you care about their welfare, you know, you put them in jeopardy, then the action like just goes up a notch. It goes up to 11. So that was something that we really wanted to make sure that, you know, we create characters who are real, that we care about, that we can empathize with, because then when we put them in these situations, then, yeah, hopefully you'll be on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, and Sung, when it comes to your character in the movie, I start off feeling one way about him, and then I feel a different way, and then I feel another way at a very pivotal point. And it, like I said, it really lent itself to the complexity of that. Was that part of what kind of drew you to this role, is there are layers?
Yeah, I mean, that was the concern at the beginning. You know, I think under another director that maybe didn't come from an Asian American, you know, background, maybe it would be just a one-dimensional bad guy. You know, it's the Asian bad guy that maybe does kung fu, and, you know, the character that you've seen that basically follows certain tropes. But, you know, the thing that, you know, excited me and gave me a sense of security that we could create a character with different dimensions to it. And that could be challenging and fun to play. You know, it was really George. You know, George, you know, being an Asian American male, I knew that I wouldn't have to explain myself to him, right? And that we could really kind of push the boundaries and, you know, challenge this character. And we did. So every morning we would get together, you know, before we would go to set, and go over the scenes, you know, talk about the character and how to make it more complex, make it more dimensional, to give the character layers. So, you know, your response to the character is exactly what we were hoping for, you know. But then still have fun as a bad guy. You know?
Yeah, and I could tell you probably had a ton of fun, you know, playing some of this in some of these scenes in this movie. And but also the great thing about a bad guy in general, because I'm a huge James Bond fan, you know, going back from the '60s all the way through current. And what I love about Bond is just the unique look of the villain. And I feel like that's what you bring in this character with the streak through the hair, with the tattoo, a very unique look. How much of conversation between y'all went into the look of the villain?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. A lot of it was like, Sung, you're kind of graying there already, right? So that was something, he suggested, hey, I'm kind of, graying here. Let's make something of that. Let's like accentuate that stripe to give it a really distinct look. And it's like, great. Yeah, that's an absolutely wonderful idea. Let's run with it.
Yeah, and Sung, that's what you remember is just trying to figure out the vision of it. Because I guess when you read it on the page, you start getting some ideas, and then you really start to put them into practice there.
Yeah, trying to figure out, because for me, it starts with the hair. Like, what is this bad guy's hair like? Like how much time does he spend in the morning doing his hair? And when I got to Taiwan, my hair was long like this, right? So, but then I had this gray streak, and then on the plane, I think I was watching the 101 Dalmatians, right? Like the animation, and
Cruella de Vil.
yeah, and she has this like gray streak, right? And I was like, oh, this might be kind of fun to kind of explore, right? And George was down, and we found the local hairstylist to, kind of bleach the rest of it, and it came out all right, and then the tattoo. Originally, the tattoo is a bunch of tattoos on the body, kind of like Yakuza, but you never saw them because there were no scenes in the film where, I'm, like shirtless. So I was like, what's the point of going through all that tattoo? And we're thinking maybe something on the hand, but it just didn't feel right. And, I feel like this guy, just to display how serious he is as a bad guy, he would put it somewhere very prominent, in some place very painful to put that tattoo, and like right at your neck, right? So, and that tattoo is the rhino from the building, right? That Quan owns, or that his office works out of. So it worked out, and that tattoo didn't come off like during production. So people thought like in Taipei that I was walking around with this tattoo.
Probably getting a couple strange looks, but it was all to make a really, really great film. And guys, I really, really mean it. I could have spent a week in Taipei, not just a weekend, but the movie is fantastic. And thank you so much for both of your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.